Hey, what's up? This is Jay Crimson from the Crimson Cult Podcast. If you are interested in starting your own podcast like me, there's no place to go but Anchor. If you haven't heard about Anchor, it's the best and easiest way to make a podcast. You can trim, edit, add music, add background noises, whatever, all on your phone. So download the free Anchor app or go to anchor.fm to get started. Thanks for listening.
Hello.
Hello, how you doing?
Hey, David.
Hey.
Hey, how are you? This is Jay. Welcome to the Crimson Cult Podcast.
Thank you. Glad to be here.
So, David Howard Thornton, who also played Art the Clown in All Hallows Eve and Terrifier.
Actually, I was not in All Hallows Eve. That was a different actor by the name of Mike Gianelli.
Oh, no kidding.
Yeah.
Well, news to me and news to us. Well, thank you.
Exactly.
Regardless, thank you for being on the show.
Oh, no problem. I just got to give credit where credit's due, you know?
True. And I appreciate that. Every once in a while, some negative information pops it and slips its way in.
Oh, yeah. I know how that goes.
So, you are from Huntsville, Indiana, or Huntsville, Alabama, but
yeah.
You live in New York City?
Yes, I do.
Okay. How is it like there with all the COVID stuff?
It's been okay. I mean, last year, the beginning of all this, it was kind of crazy, but I'm like, everybody here has been pretty good about things, and I think that's like why our numbers decreased so much. You know, when you consider you live in a city of 9 million people, and, you know, it's like our numbers have been lower than a lot of places. And it's because people have been very considerate of each other here, so everybody's been, you know, doing the social distancing and wearing masks, and no one's throwing fits about it, so.
Right.
It works.
Yeah, it's a crazy time. So, what was it like growing up in Alabama?
It was different. I mean, I didn't realize it was different, though, because, like, you know, that was my normal. But I grew up in Huntsville, which is a big, huge military town. It was where NASA first started. So, yeah, my dad worked for NASA for about 40 years, so I grew up with, you know, rockets being tested all the time. So, you know, all of a sudden the whole house starts shaking and stuff like that because they're testing the engines and stuff like that. So that was normal for me, but it wasn't until I moved up here to New York, everybody's like, oh my God, your dad works for NASA? I'm like, yeah.
It was normal for you.
Yeah, it was like everybody worked for NASA, it seemed like.
Did you go to college at all for acting?
No, I actually got my degree in elementary education.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah.
So,
I was trying to have a more stable career path originally, and then it was about a year or so after my mom died from cancer, and it kind of changed my whole trajectory on life. I was like, yeah, I realized I feel more fulfilled, you know, entertaining people than educating them. So I was like, you know, why don't I do this instead?
I'm sorry to hear about your mom.
It happens, unfortunately. Yeah. But you know, it's just one of those things that led me down the path I'm on now. So you know, it's as much as that hurts and sucks. You know, I often think it is the catalyst for why I'm doing what I'm doing with my life now.
Right. So Art the Clown's like me and my bandmates' favorite serial killer right now. How did you get approached to play Art the Clown in Terrifier?
I simply just responded to an audition notice on a website. I saw they were looking for a tall, skinny guy to play the role, and that they needed someone that had like clowning or physical comedy experience to play him. And I was like, oh my God, that's me. I'm perfect for this. And I already knew who Art the Clown was because I had seen All Hallows Eve. So I was like, oh yeah, I would love to play this character. So I contacted my reps, and I'm like, please send me in for this. I know I can land this. And I know I was looking at a great way just to finally get my foot in the door in the film world, and had no idea it would go to this crazy place it's gone now.
Right. Before all that, you've done stage and some voiceover stuff?
Correct, yes.
Can you tell us a bit about that?
Yeah, I've basically been doing stage my whole entire life. Right before Terrifier, though, I had finished my fifth and final tour of How the Grinch Stole Christmas, the musical. I was Grandpa Who in that, but I also understudied the Grinch, and it was the wonderful, just wonderfully talented Stephen Carl, who was Robbie Rotten on Lazy Town, to play him. So he was able to really help me fine-tune my physical comedy, chops, I would say, because he was a master at physical comedy.
Right.
Yeah, and voiceover, I've done a lot of that as well. I recently just got cast in a new animated series for the Sesame Workshop, which I'm really excited for. So it's kind of funny. I'm more well known for playing a silent killer clown, but I also do voiceover work for little kids.
Right.
Animation. So it's like, yeah, it's like night and day.
Right. Do you get any grief for that at all?
Not yet. I'm waiting for that to happen. Like, how dare you do your horrible Art the Clown movies? But I'm like, it's for adults. That's for adults. This is for kids,
There you go.
I'm an actor.
An
actor can play all types of parts.
Right. What in Terrifier, what is your favorite scene?
Oh, I would say that's the pizzeria scene. That was just a lot of fun to do because I was given a lot of freedom just to play around with that. But I also think it's a great scene because it really shows you everything about the character of Art the Clown without a lot of exposition or anything like that. You know exactly what he's about with that scene. You see every facet of his character. You see his, silliness. You see his creepiness. And you see his just outright just brutal nature as well.
Right. So what was your most memorable experience filming Terrifier and being Art the Clown?
Oh, that would be a very crazy night on set. It was the night that we were filming the scene where I shoot Jenna Cannell's character Tara in the face multiple times, and they were filming some of the stuff with her first, and so I was just waiting, and it was about maybe 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock in the morning in New Jersey, and I'm in full makeup, got blood all over me, and I hear this argument happening out in the street. And then there's two women, arguing with each other, so I just go over to watch because I'm bored. And they look up and see me in the window, and I forget how I look, so I wave down at them. Scare them. They go running off. And about 10, 15 minutes later, our like Damien and our producers and everybody come in. They're kind of giggling. And they're like, hey, we got someone out here that wants to meet you, but don't come out till we tell you. I'm like, oh, cool. So they finally tell me to come out. So I roll up this big, huge, garage door, and because it was outside, and I go out there and come up, and they're about 10, 15 of New Jersey's finest in full-on riot gear, and I just freeze up. I'm like, oh God, this is where I die.
Oh man.
Yeah, and there's like silence. And so I just let out this little squeaky little, what's up, guys? And there's still silence. I'm like, yeah, I'm really going to die right now. Oh, my God. Oh, my God. And then they just start laughing. And they're like, yeah, be glad you didn't come out first because we would have shot you on sight looking like that. I'm like, I am sure of it, guys.
So they had no idea.
Oh, no. They had when they arrived, our producers went out there and told them that we were filming a movie. They're like, okay, that's where they're like, oh, we got to see this guy then. We got to see because those two women called us in. They said that they seen some bloody clown in this building.
I would have liked to have been a phone tap on that one.
Oh, yeah. So, of course we took all these pictures with them so they can go back to the pre-scene and tell everybody what happened, and so I think we made their nights a lot more interesting that night, too.
What was the hardest scene to film?
Oh, that was definitely the hacksaw scene, the night that we actually had to hang Catherine upside down, who played Dawn, because that was just very dangerous, and it was very cold that night. It was about 20 degrees in the room because we had no heat. And so she's miserable, and we can only let her hang upside down for 30 seconds at a time because it's so dangerous to do. And so we had to film very quickly, so we didn't have a lot of, time to actually film in succession because, we're trying to take good care of her. So it was a very stressful and miserable night for everybody, but we got through it because we knew what that scene was going to become in the movie.
Right. So, since playing Art the Clown, I'm sure you've done some horror conventions.
Mm-hmm.
What's your interesting story when it comes to those conventions, and have you met any interesting people?
Oh, gosh, yeah. I mean, it's interesting-wise, and nothing out crazy's happened. I did have this fun Mom Down Spooky Empire in Orlando where I got to lead a clown parade through the streets. So that was fun. I was actually just dressed as my normal self, and everybody else was dressed as clowns, so I was, leading the parade. And you could see pedestrians on the side of the street running away from all these clowns, and people in the cars going, "Oh God!"
Nice.
So that was kind of cool. But celebrity-wise, man, I've met so many people. It's been nuts, because that's why I think it's kind of cool about these conventions. Is like I can actually meet these people I've grown up watching in movies and get to meet them as people.
Right.
And get to know them as, not just like, oh my God, I love your movie, but actually just sit down and have conversations with them. I've done that with like Christopher Lloyd and Doug Jones and Alice Cooper, and of course, so many of the horror legends like Kane Hodder and Bill Moseley and, C.J. Graham and all those guys. So it's really cool. I love those experiences, and it's such a great way to, meet the fans. I usually go to the after parties and hang out with everybody, so it's really fun. I've missed it this past year with the virus and everything, so I'm looking forward to finally getting my vaccine so I can go back out and start doing those again.
Right. I was going to ask, did COVID really get in the way of Terrifier 2 filming, huh?
It did, yeah, because we were almost done filming, which kind of sucked. But at the same time, we had two of our biggest kill scenes yet to film in the movie, and this gave Damien more time to actually, one, build the prosthetics that we need for these kill scenes so they could just be spot on perfect. And number two, he was able to actually flesh out those last kill scenes that we had to film so that they were actually bigger. We actually ended up filming something bigger with those two kill scenes than what was actually originally in the script. He just said, well, I got the time, might as well rethink these and really just make them big. And that's what we did. So in some ways, I think the virus kind of helped us in some ways.
Yeah, I've been doing these podcasts now with random artists or artists that I really am interested in, and a lot of them have been saying the same thing about it's almost forced a creativeness.
Yeah. Oh, definitely. It's weird how that is. It's just I did another project earlier, not this year, but last year, called The Dark Offerings. They wrote a small role in there for me, and this is a horror film that's filmed exclusively over Zoom.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah. So that it was very interesting because I wasn't in the room with the other actors. We were all having to act off of computer screens with each other. But so there was a weird disconnect, but at the same time it was kind of fun too because it's like this is really new. But we made the best out of a bad situation. I think that's what's been really cool about this. It's like, artists haven't really been deterred by this virus. They've, it finds a way. People have found ways to continue creating new content and, furthering their love and passion for the arts, which I think is fantastic.
Yeah, that is awesome. Is that available, that movie?
It's not available yet, but they're in the process of editing right now.
Oh, post-production.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Yeah, so it should be, out later on this year, just like Terrifier 2.
Speaking of that, is there anything you can tell us about Terrifier 2?
Oh, yeah. I can't tell you, plot-wise and all that fun stuff, but it's definitely going to be a bigger and bloodier and bolder movie than the first one. It's a lot more ambitious. It's not really all contained in one location like the first film was. I would say, Art's venturing out into Miles County and into that universe more. So that's what's been fun about it. You get to see him in a lot of fun locations and doing some crazy stuff in them. But it's also not just his movie. We've also built up this really great new protagonist in Sienna. And it's not just art, it's not all just centered on art. He's front and center, of course, but they share this movie together, and it's really cool. And I can't wait for people to meet this character and her brother and her mom and just that universe that she lives in with her friends. And you just see what a destructive force art is in that universe, how he just upends everything. And it's a fun film. I think it's more fun than the first film. I can't wait for people to see it.
So
we haven't pulled back at all on any of the kill scenes. I think we set that as a challenge for ourselves to top what we did in the first film, kill wise.
Right. So any more sequels after this one?
We at least want to do one more. Damien's always had a trilogy in mind, so he has a place he wants us to go. But if he comes up with more ideas after part 3, so be it. I'm willing to play this character as long as possible. He's such a fun character.
Yeah, and it would make an awesome franchise, in my opinion.
I agree.
It already is one. Any bad experiences?
Not really any bad ones. Besides, it's just like a lot of we filmed this during the winter, and so some of the locations weren't the most fun locations to film in because they were just cold and wet. But that just goes with the territory. Sometimes we made the most out of that. We had long days, and it's like the makeup and all that's a little bit of a pain at times, but you force through it because the suffering's temporary, but what we're filming lasts forever. So that's how we would look at it. So we might be on our going 2 or 3 days straight with maybe 4 or 5 hours of sleep total. We're like, okay, we can do it. Yeah.
And people, I've noticed, they're coming up with all sorts of like merch. I've seen like an Art the Clown bath bomb.
Yeah, crazy.
So it's really taken off, and I'm assuming that you're just tickled pink about it all.
Oh my gosh, I never imagined any of this kind of stuff. It's crazy to see all this merchandise that's out there. Especially there's a lot of unlicensed stuff, but we also have licensed merchandise now too, which is pretty rad. And I have a feeling once part 2 comes out, that's just going to explode even more. It's insane, absolutely insane. I never imagined that. I'm supposed to be getting an action figure sometime later on this year, so I'm just like, I never imagined anything like that in my life.
That's cool.
Yeah. The little kid inside of me is really excited.
I bet. I'm excited for you.
Thank you.
So you also play the Joker in a YouTube series. The YouTube series is titled
Nightwing Escalation.
Okay, now what's that all about? That sounds interesting.
Yeah, it's just a fan-made YouTube series. I come into the 3rd season. The whole premise behind it is Batman has left Gotham City to go fight with the Justice League somewhere in outer space against Darkseid. So he's left Gotham in charge, let me flip that, reverse it. He's left Nightwing in charge of Gotham. and then some bad things happen with Nightwing. And I am revealed to basically be the big bad once season 3 comes around. So it's a lot of fun. We have some good writers, especially for season 3. You see that over the course of the series how it gets better and better because a lot more people were brought in that actually had ties to the entertainment industry. So we're able to get better writers, better actors, better cinematography, all that kind of stuff, especially in the 3rd season. So it's been fun. It's all fan-made. Everybody's just coming together for free. No one's getting paid to do it. We're just like, we all love this universe, so let's make something with it.
Yeah, that is cool.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Any other future goals or ambitions?
Gosh, I mean, a weird goal of mine is to be the voice of Bugs Bunny or Mickey Mouse one day.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow, that'd be something, wouldn't it?
Yeah, it's a lifelong goal I've had. It's just like I love those characters so much, and I would love a chance to play them.
That would be interesting. I'm really excited about all the stuff you got going on.
Thank you.
Well, any you want to share some links or anything where people can check out your work? I mean,
sure.
Not just Art the Clown and Terrifier, other stuff too.
Yeah, you can find me on Instagram and Facebook under David Howard Thornton, but I'm also on Cameo. I have a Cameo page under David H. Thornton, I think, or something like that. So if you want, me to do something for a birthday or something like that, I can make little videos for you and all that fun stuff. And I try not to charge as much as most people on there too. I charge basically what I charge for a combo for autograph and picture at a table at a convention. So I try to keep it, as affordable as possible for people, because I don't want people going broke.
Right.
Just for me. I think that's just kind of silly. But, other than that, I've got Terrifier 2 coming out later on this year. I got Dark Offerings coming out this year, and I'm also working on another horror film called Stream with a lot of people from Terrifier. It's our assistant director from Terrifier 2, Michael Levy, who was also the exterminator that I decapitated in Terrifier 1, is directing Stream. And they've got a lot of cool big names from the horror world involved in Stream. A lot of them I can't name yet, but I will say, since it's already on IMDb, Jeffrey Combs is one of the main people on it, which is really awesome. So it's really cool being able to see these people work. People I grew up watching in movies, and I get to actually be in a movie with these people, so it's pretty wild.
Yeah, that's got to be awesome. That's got to be real surreal.
Yeah. Even if I wasn't in scenes with these people, I was able to sit there off the camera and just watch them work. And, that's how I learn as an actor. I love to watch people that have been doing this for a while so I can learn from them. And that was a real treat. So I don't know when that's coming out. Probably maybe later on this year, maybe early next year. It depends how quickly we can finish filming and get everything edited as well. But, yeah, so that's all exciting stuff. So more than I ever expected.
Do you have any favorite films that you like watching, or anything that's been an influence?
Oh, I'm a huge film person. I love movies, but I would say my favorite film of all time, because I just think it's a perfect film. It's got everything I want in the movie, is Who Framed Roger Rabbit. I just think that's a perfect movie that couldn't be made today nearly as well as it was back then. It's a
no way. Yeah, there's no way they could copy it as good.
No.
It's funny because, that was a big part of my childhood too, and I'm 37 now, and that movie, man, I remember striving to get that damn movie recorded off television when I was a youngster. My parents were pretty strict, so the violent parts in it were almost a bit too much for them to let me watch, and with all the gangster elements and whatnot, and just the Christopher Lloyd elements at the end, man. They're still kind of freaky, to be honest. They did that really well. And the whole animated into a real world, I thought they did pretty damn good. And I always preferred that movie over Space Jam. But
because this was made before CG.
Yeah.
So, and they did so much, puppetry in that movie. So they really made it look like these cartoon characters were actually interacting with the real world. It's just amazing to watch. And you're like, none of this is done with CG. This is all hand-drawn and done with puppetry. It's a phenomenal movie.
Yeah, and Bob Hoskins was great in it.
Oh, my God. I didn't even know he had, that he was actually British until years later when he did Hook, because I just totally bought into him as Eddie Valiant with that accent he was doing. I thought that's how and then when he played Mario, I was like, man, I thought that's just how he sounded.
Right, like a guy, older American guy with a raspy voice.
Yeah, and then he's, this is actually, I'm Bob Hoskins. You're like, what? No, what? No.
Didn't he play a British guy in a film?
Yeah, he's done. Yeah, he did. I can't remember the name of the film, but he played this thug. He was like a British Cockney thug and stuff like that. I can't remember what it was. Late 90s, I think.
Interesting. Yeah, I do remember him in something. I don't remember the title or the plot or anything.
I can't either. Of course, he was also in Hook 2 as Smee, so he did his Cockney there as well. So.
Yeah, that was good stuff.
Oh, God. He and Dustin Hoffman together were just hysterical.
All right, David. It's about that time.
Okay.
I am very thankful that you did this podcast, and we're all looking forward to Terrifier 2. It's going to be great. We know it.
Thank you. I can't wait for it to get out to you guys, because, oh boy, it's going to be something else.
A lot of time went into it, huh?
A lot of time, and a lot of heart went into this, a lot of dedication, because we had a small crew, but, we're proud of what we came up with.
Nice. I can't wait to see it. All right, David Howard Thornton, Art the Clown, thank you for being a part of the Crimson Cult tonight, and may peace be with you, good sir.
All right, you take care, and you stay safe.
You too. Thank you.
All right. Bye.
Bye.